Colorado has a new point man for missing persons and murder cases that involve tribal communities. And he already has his first case. Our Luis de Leon sat down today with the man who's going to be the go-between for law enforcement and indigenous families.
A bare office may be a representation of how often Arron Julian is not there.
For my son.
He's constantly on the road, carrying representation on him.
This is something traditional that a lot of Native Americans wear, and they recognize it immediately. So
that recognition is vital to his role.
when they do see me arrive, I'm not wearing a traditional tie.
A member of the Hickory Apache tribe, he's a few weeks in as the director of the Office of Liaison for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Relatives. In that time, he's already met with local law enforcement and tribal police departments, as well as worked an active case. He describes those first visits as a sense of relief.
Not only did I feel it, it was expressed to me by the tribal council and their members that were there in the community. It was like everybody took a deep breath.
His position was created as part of a bill passed this year in the last legislative session. It's something Julian feels is needed beyond Colorado.
The Native community is always overlooked in many occasions, just like the disparity in what kind of numbers of missing, murdered indigenous relatives are across the United States. It's very inconsistent.
The Colorado Bureau of Investigation says there are 12 active cases of missing indigenous people in the state. Julian believes the environment between Native American communities and law enforcement have played a role in these cases going unsolved.
Generally, there's a lot of animosity normally between the community and law enforcement, and being from a small community myself, I understand that dynamic of it becomes us against them.
Jurisdictional issues, he says, is another factor.
They have tribal laws, they have their own law, they have their own police department, then they have state law, and then they have federal jurisdiction.
And as someone who brings that understanding and representation to these investigations, he hopes to fill a missing link.
Recognizing that real quickly from both sides is to channel all the information into one focal point.
So by the end of the month, CBI plans to have a notification system up and running specifically for cases involving missing indigenous people, as well as a dashboard with information on active cases that's also being created. Advocates, by the way, believe the number there is much higher than what's reported by the state. Kyle, once approved, Julian will also be leading trainings on how to better work with Native American communities at police academies across the state.
So he already has his first active case. What do you tell you about that?
Specifically, that was a case out of Ignacio, Colorado. A missing indigenous woman tragically was found dead. A suspect had been arrested, but he says that this really opened his eyes to how receptive some of the families were. He was able to respond directly, bring in some more resources. It's that progress, that connection that he hopes to make between both sides to help get some of these cases solved.
Luis de Leon, thank you.